In the diverse ecosystem of poker, various playing styles clash like titans on the green felt battlefield. Among these, the Nit stands out, often drawing both ire and begrudging respect. Nits are the tightest of players, embodying a philosophy of extreme caution and patience. This essay delves into the depths of the Nit Playstyle, dissecting its motivations, strategies, and potential pitfalls. We'll explore the characteristics that define a Nit, from their ironclad pre-flop ranges to their calculated post-flop maneuvers. Understanding the Nit's approach is crucial for any aspiring poker player. By recognizing their tendencies, you can exploit their weaknesses and avoid falling into the traps of predictability yourself. Join us as we unravel the enigma of the Nit, shedding light on this often misunderstood poker archetype. In the poker lexicon, few terms carry as much weight as Nit. It's often used pejoratively, describing a player who plays extremely tight, often frustrating opponents with their unwillingness to gamble. Nits are the epitome of conservatism, adhering to a strict set of rules that prioritize premium hands and minimize risk. They are the proverbial rocks at the table, weathering storms of aggression with an unwavering commitment to their narrow range. While Nit might sound derogatory, it's important to note that playing tight isn't inherently bad. In fact, for beginners, adopting a tighter style can be a valuable learning tool, helping them avoid costly mistakes and build a solid foundation. However, like any extreme approach, a purely nitty style has its limitations, which we'll explore in the following sections. Identifying a Nit at the poker table isn't rocket science. Their actions speak volumes, painting a clear picture of their conservative strategy. Here are some telltale signs you're dealing with a card-carrying member of the Nit Club. Extremely tight pre-flop range. Nits are incredibly selective about the hands they play before the flop. They'll fold anything but the cream of the crop. Think high pairs like aces, kings, queens, and big aces like ace-king. Premium hand-focused Nits live and breathe premium starting hands. They're perfectly content waiting for hours for pocket aces to grace their presence. Bluff aversion. Don't expect fancy bluffs from a Nit. They'd rather fold than risk chips on anything less than the nuts. Overfolding to aggression. Nits are easily intimidated by raises and re-raises. They'll often fold even strong hands if they sense too much heat. The pre-flop action is where a Nit truly shines, or perhaps more accurately, where they blend into the background. They treat their pre-flop range like a heavily guarded fortress, allowing only the most elite hands past their defenses. Imagine a castle surrounded by a moat filled with hungry crocodiles. That's a Nit's pre-flop range. They'll happily fold hand after hand, waiting patiently for the perfect opportunity to strike with their premium holdings. This extreme selectivity might seem excessive, but it stems from a fundamental belief in minimizing risk. Nits understand that the more hands they play, the more opportunities they have to make mistakes. Section 5. Post-flop passivity, playing for the nuts. If a Nit's pre-flop strategy is about building a fortress, their post-flop play is all about holding down the fort. They rarely initiate aggression unless they have the absolute nuts, the best possible hand. Think of a Nit's post-flop play as a game of chess. They're not looking for flashy attacks, they're content to slowly squeeze their opponents with carefully calculated bets, only pushing all in when victory is assured. This passive approach can be frustrating for opponents who are used to more dynamic players. However, it's important to remember that Nits aren't trying to win every pot. They're playing the long game, aiming to minimize losses and capitalize on their opponent's mistakes. Section 6. The psychology of a Nit: fear and predictability. To truly understand the Nit, we need to delve into the psychology that drives their decisions. At their core, Nits are often motivated by two key factors: fear and a desire for predictability. Fear of variance. Poker is a game of chance, and even the best players experience upswings and downswings. Nits are terrified of variance, the unpredictable nature of the game that can lead to both exhilarating wins and crushing losses. Craving predictability. Nits find comfort in the familiar. They stick to what they know, playing a narrow range of hands and avoiding situations with too many unknowns. This desire for predictability extends to their opponent's actions, as they prefer situations where they feel confident in their reads. Section 7. Why play like a Nit? Minimizing losses and variance. Despite its limitations, the Nit Playstyle does offer some benefits, particularly for beginners or players with a low-risk tolerance. Loss minimization. By playing only premium hands, Nits minimize their potential losses. They're rarely caught in big bluffs or forced to fold strong hands due to aggression, reduced variance. The Nits' tight approach naturally leads to lower variance. They might not win big pots very often, but they're also less likely to experience crippling downswings. Simplicity and discipline. The Nit playstyle is relatively straightforward, making it easy to learn and execute. It also requires a high level of discipline, which can be valuable for players prone to tilting or making impulsive decisions. Section 8. The downside of Nitum: exploiting the predictable. While playing like a Nit might seem like a safe and effective strategy, it comes with significant drawbacks, especially as you progress to higher stakes. Exploitability. The biggest weakness of a Nit is their predictability. Experienced opponents can quickly identify their tendencies and exploit them mercilessly. Missed opportunities. Nits often miss out on profitable situations by overfolding or failing to capitalize on their opponent's weaknesses. Difficulty building pots. Nits struggle to build large pots, as their opponents are often wary of their tight image and reluctant to commit too many chips. Section 9. Finding your balance: nitty or nice. The key to success in poker, like in life, lies in finding balance. While playing extremely tight can be beneficial in certain situations, adopting a purely nitty approach will ultimately limit your potential. Instead of labeling yourself as a Nit or a lag, loose aggressive, focus on developing a well-rounded game that adapts to the specific table dynamics and your opponent's tendencies. Remember, poker is a game of deception and adaptation. Don't be afraid to mix up your play, throw in some bluffs, and occasionally gamble with less than premium hands. The element of surprise is a powerful weapon in any poker player's arsenal.